question about the interior layout. It's the interior layout. This is sort of a long question here. What is the most efficient way to size each room quickly and accurately, since there aren't any dimensions or square footage given for each room? I've had issues where I thought it was a good layout until I put the furniture in and needed to rearrange room sizes to fit the furniture, and it takes up a lot of unnecessary time. So yeah, absolutely. This is a really interesting question. The interior layout, just to kind of put a little bit of background on it. So this is under schematic design. There's the two vignettes in schematic design. Is the building design, and there's the interior layout. And the building design is this huge, big project, and takes many hours, and you have a lot of information to get through. And it's one of those things that everybody gears up for, and you get all psyched up for. And then there's this little puny little interior layout thing. You just got to put some furniture in and make a couple office space things, and you have a little bit of time for that. And it seems like it's a really nothing little vignette compared to the schematic design. I guarantee you the interior layout is harder than the schematic design. And the reason for that is because you have to do it fast, and there's not a lot of space. Everything is very tight, and there's only really a couple ways that it can be laid out. So given that, the first couple things I would say, one is practice, 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 right? So there are ways that you can have an understanding about how to do these things. By just the more times you've tried it, the faster you will be at sort of foreseeing what the issues are. There actually is quite a bit of information about dimensions as you're putting the rooms in, and so you can very easily see if it's a 10-foot distance or if it's an 8-foot distance or something like that for the room as you place it in. And so one of the things that as you're doing that, you should have already, by practicing, you should already have a number of key dimensions kind of built into your brain about this. So for example, if I have a 5-foot desk with a chair and a 3-foot passageway next to it, well, that's 8 feet, right? Now I want to probably give myself a little room, so I probably should think of that as about 8'6". And then I very easily can imagine if I've put an office in and I have, say, 15 feet left, I am not going to be able to get two offices next to each other that both have a passageway and a desk in that orientation. So this is just one of those things. There's just a few of these numbers you want to kind of have in the back of your head where it's assemblies of furniture because it's going to show up over and over again. And if you kind of think of it that way, then you can look for key dimensional elements and just sort of know what's coming. Another possibility, some folks that I've talked to have sworn by this. It seems a little goofy to me, but I've practiced it a little bit and it seemed to make sense, and like I said, they swore by it. What they did is they would put the furniture out first. So they would make what they thought was like a reasonable arrangement of furniture. So let's say there's an executive desk with its chair, and here's a back bookshelf, and here's a chair for a visitor, and there's a side table or something, something like that. And then once they sort of make that in as tight and reasonable, excuse me, as tight and reasonable a grouping of furniture that they thought was reasonable, they would then come back through and put the room around it. That's a terrible room, sorry. But what that allows them to do is to understand the scale of the room by what it needs to be in terms of how much furniture is sort of being jammed in there. And pretty quickly, you sort of put those things together, and then you look at those rooms, and you start moving them around a little bit on the actual drawing plane, and it becomes pretty clear pretty fast that, okay, that's a, that orientation of desks isn't going to work, or this is taking up too much space, or I can't get those three in a row, so therefore I must have to switch it around. And it's just sort of one other way of approaching it. Now, is that the best way for you? You have to practice it. You have to test it out. But this is why was saying earlier, it's like use this this vignette as a way to test different ways of doing these things. Like try it one way and then do it again and try it the other way. Do you like just memorizing dimensions and then kind of picturing those in your head and then putting the rooms in and then filling it with furniture? Or do you like putting the furniture down, grouping them in logical ways, and then putting the rooms around them and then moving the rooms into place? They're both totally reasonable and rational ways to do it. Some people will prefer one over the other. But those are the best ways to really think about it, is definitely just memorize a few of those key dimensions, but then also test out this idea of putting in the furniture first and see if that is helpful for you.
Well, thank you, Mike, and thanks again to all of you who tuned in and who have submitted their questions today. If you'd like to attend our next a.r.e. live broadcast on the structural systems exam, visit blackspectacles.com/podcast to register to attend. And just like today's episode, you'll have a chance to ask questions and share your answers with Mike for live feedback during the broadcast.
And if I can just toss in, if you have a particular topic that you think would be good to cover on that, let us know. If you let us know early enough, we'll make sure we get it in there for the discussion next time.
Yep. And to learn a little bit more about our AIA a.r.e. prep curriculum, go to blackspectacles.com where you can try out any of the free courses. And for those of you who are ready to start preparing for the ARE, and if you're already an AIA member, as a part of our partnership with the AIA, you can visit http://bksp.es/ARE-prep826 to get a 15% discount of your AIA a.r.e. prep membership. Finally, please leave a comment below the video to let us know what you think and share any suggestions you may have. I promise we'll read every word that you write and use them to tune our next episodes. So thanks for watching.